In economics, the cost of living refers to the money needed to maintain a certain standard of living. To measure changes, economists use the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. The CPI tracks prices of a basket of goods and services purchased by a typical consumer. It's a crucial economic indicator, helping us understand price trends over time. For instance, the government uses the CPI to adjust social security benefits for inflation. This ensures retirees' purchasing power keeps pace with rising prices. The CPI is calculated by tracking prices of a fixed basket of goods and services. This basket includes items like food, housing, transportation, and healthcare. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS, collects price data from thousands of retail stores nationwide. By comparing the cost of this basket over time, the BLS calculates the CPI. The CPI is expressed as an index number, with a base year assigned a value of 100. The CPI is constructed by determining a representative basket of goods and services. This basket reflects the spending patterns of a typical urban consumer. The BLS conducts detailed surveys to determine the basket's composition. It's divided into 8 major groups: food and beverages, housing, apparel, transportation, medical care, recreation, education and communication, and other goods and services. Each group is further divided into specific categories. For example, the food and beverages group includes cereals, meats and dairy products. The BLS collects price data on each item in the basket from thousands of retail stores. These prices are used to calculate the cost of the entire basket at a given time. While valuable, the CPI is not a perfect measure of the cost of living. One limitation is substitution bias. The CPI assumes consumers buy the same quantities of goods each month, even when prices change. In reality, consumers adjust their spending habits in response to price changes. For example, if apple prices rise, consumers might buy more oranges instead. The CPI doesn't fully account for this substitution effect. As a result, it may overstate the true increase in the cost of living. Economists recognize this limitation and understand the CPI provides an approximation, not a precise measurement. Despite its limitations, the CPI remains valuable for tracking inflation and understanding price changes. 2 additional limitations of the CPI are the introduction of new goods and changes in the quality of existing goods. The CPI is slow to incorporate new goods into its basket, leading to an overstatement of inflation. For example, when personal computers were first introduced, they weren't immediately included in the CPI. Similarly, the CPI struggles to reflect improvements in the quality of goods. Over time, many products improve in quality, like safer cars and faster computers. The CPI attempts to adjust for quality changes, but these adjustments are often imperfect. As a result, the CPI may overstate inflation by not fully accounting for the increased value from improved goods. Despite these challenges, the CPI remains a key tool for measuring inflation. Section 5, CPI versus GDP deflator. Measuring different baskets. The CPI is not the only measure of inflation. Another commonly used measure is the GDP deflator. While both track changes in price levels, they differ in coverage and methodologies. The CPI focuses on prices of goods and services consumed by households. In contrast, the GDP deflator measures prices of all goods and services produced domestically. The CPI uses a fixed basket of goods, while the GDP deflator's basket changes each year based on GDP composition. This difference can lead to different inflation rates reported by the CPI and GDP deflator. For example, a sharp increase in machinery prices would impact the GDP deflator more than the CPI. This is because machinery is a larger component of GDP than of household consumption. Section 6. Adjusting for inflation, comparing dollars over time. Inflation makes it difficult to compare dollar amounts from different periods. A dollar today doesn't buy the same as a dollar in the past. To compare dollar figures over time, we adjust for inflation using the CPI. This involves converting historical dollar figures into present-day dollars. For example, suppose someone earned $20,000 in 1980. To adjust this salary for inflation, we use the CPI. If the CPI in 1980 was 82.4 and in 2023 is 300, we calculate adjusted salary equals sign historical salary historical CPI asterisk current CPI. Adjusted salary equals sign 20,080 seconds 4 asterisk 300. Adjusted salary equals sign $72,815.53. This shows that a $20,000 salary in 1980 is equivalent to approximately $72,815.53 in 2023. Section 7. Inflation correction in laws and contracts. Maintaining fairness. Price indexes like the CPI play a crucial role in laws and contracts by providing a mechanism for inflation correction. This ensures fairness and prevents unintended consequences over time. For instance, Social Security benefits are adjusted annually based on the CPI. This guarantees retirees' purchasing power keeps pace with inflation. Many labour contracts also incorporate cost of living adjustments, or COLAs, based on the CPI. COLAs protect workers from unexpected inflation by tying wages to the price level. Furthermore, some long-term financial contracts, like mortgages, might include provisions for inflation adjustments. These adjustments help maintain the real value of the loan over time. By incorporating inflation correction mechanisms, laws and contracts can adapt to changing price levels, ensuring fairness. Section 8. Nominal versus real interest rates. Understanding purchasing power. It's essential to distinguish between nominal and real interest rates. Nominal interest rates are the rates advertised by banks. These rates represent the percentage increase in the dollar value of your savings or borrowing cost. However, nominal rates don't account for inflation. Real interest rates factor in the erosion of purchasing power caused by inflation. The real interest rate reflects the actual gain in purchasing power from saving or the real cost of borrowing. The relationship between nominal and real interest rates can be expressed by the Fisher equation. Real interest rate equals sign nominal interest rate, inflation rate. For example, if the nominal interest rate is 5% and inflation is 3%, the real interest rate is 2%. Understanding this distinction is crucial for making informed financial decisions. Section 9. The importance of accurate inflation measurement. Accurate inflation measurement is crucial for a well-functioning economy. It impacts monetary policy, wage negotiations, investment decisions, and social welfare programs. Policymakers rely on accurate inflation data to make informed decisions about interest rates and government spending. Businesses use inflation data for pricing decisions and wage negotiations. Investors assess potential returns based on inflation forecasts. Retirees depend on inflation adjustments to maintain purchasing power. Inaccurate inflation measurement can lead to significant consequences, like fueling asset bubbles or hindering economic growth. Therefore, it's essential for statistical agencies to continuously improve inflation measurement methodologies. Section 10. Conclusion. Navigating a world of changing prices. Understanding the CPI and its role in measuring the cost of living is essential. The CPI provides valuable insights into inflation trends, allowing us to compare the purchasing power of a dollar over time. While the CPI has limitations, it remains a crucial tool for policymakers, businesses, and individuals. Accurate inflation measurement is fundamental for economic stability and informed decision-making.